Hey there, Ken French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Ken French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by.
The next 30 minutes is going to make you money, it's going to save you money, and it's going to protect your money, all using artificial intelligence. You're going to get a sneak peek behind the curtain, if you will, from someone who's been doing artificial intelligence for a long time. Not a short time like everyone else is and saying they're all gurus, you know how that. No, we've been doing artificial intelligence for a while. 2010, we started researching it. 2014 is when we started using it. 2018, we had our own little model helping finance and math, and a little math here and there, a little bit of finance. And then finally, now we've, if you will, let's call it perfected our fintech model that lowers taxes, helps increase net worth for individuals, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, my name's Ken French. I'm the author of ModernMillions.ai. We're going to be talking about the book. We're going to be talking about ways to, again, make millions, save millions, and protect millions, all with the use of artificial intelligence. I'm not going to give you all the secrets during this presentation. We're going to have you, look at the book that's going to be coming out in just a little bit. And then you're going to get much smarter, even smarter than you were by spending the half an hour here. Let's get right to it. I'm really excited about this. Why am I so excited about it? Well, because I know that this book is, it's, if you really think about it, it's taken, since 2010 to really get it going. And you really think, well, is that true? Well, to a certain extent, the answer is yeah. We started doing artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, researching it in 2010. And at the same time, we started, really proactively using it in 2014. And why did we start using it? We knew that it was going to be, the thing going forward. People were laughing at me. I remember doing a presentation in 21, I think it was 21, and, people were laughing at me. I was kind of the old guy, here I am talking about artificial intelligence. It's going to impact so many people, so many lives, and people are laughing at me. One of the guys, actually a big guru now in artificial intelligence in Canada, was laughing at me. He literally was laughing at me. He was really offensive. And, basically saying artificial intelligence, it's just going to be a fad. It's not going to, impact accounting. That was his field. Now here he is, a guru, and he's taken it wholeheartedly on the fact that artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it's really impacting, fintech specifically, but artificial intelligence is really impacting taxes. So we're going to get into it. Let's spend a half an hour. I'm going to give you some solutions that are going to by using artificial intelligence, that are going to make money, save money, and protect millions. By the way, the name of the book, ModernMillions.ai. Once again, I'll tell you, it's make millions, save millions, and protect millions. The strategic system for, AI-powered wealth building by me, Ken French. We'll get into who I am in just a little bit. The presentation, we just kind of dubbed it how smart entrepreneurs are using AI to make, save, and protect millions in 2025. So real quick agenda. We're going to go over ways to, save 5 to 6 figures and taxes. We're going to have basically a live Q&A. Go ahead, type in your questions in the chat. We're going to try to answer as many as we can. There's going to be a lot of people here. People are, walking in, if you will, as we, as I speak. We're going to go over the Modern Millions method. We're considering your 5-step roadmap to, making millions, saving millions, and protecting millions. And finally, we'll go a little bit into, how AI is shaping asset protection, taxes, retirement, and also legacy planning. Once again, Ken French, or Raymond Ken French, if you will. I'm an advisor to over 2,000 entrepreneurs, been in the industry since started in 1994. I took over a company and changed the name to vastsolutionsgroup.com. Theoretically, I'm the founder of it, but really the founder was a guy named Gary Coons, who started the company in 1969. It was a traditional finance, a little bit of tax, and, kind of an insurance company. I wanted to make it a little bit different. I wanted to help entrepreneurs who are struggling. They're all alone. You're probably watching, listening to this, et cetera, taking part in this because you're probably an entrepreneur kind of out there alone. It's tough being an entrepreneur. And here, what I'm trying to do is what I've been doing since I started in the industry in 2006 is helping entrepreneurs to, level up, to, fight the good fight. Cause there's such a headwind against entrepreneurs. No one wants to work with them. They're too busy, maybe not have the highest net worth. All their business is usually their net worth, etc. Anyway, I wanted to take that on, and I've done it. Obviously now I'm a former Forbes.com small business contributor. I'm a fintech contributor for the AI Journal. This is on my fourth book, and author of ModernMillions.ai. So, I speak all over the world, or all over the country, sometimes here and there, all over the world, with respect to, tax, finance, and artificial intelligence, all to help business owners. And yeah, there's no doubt I'm a longtime advocate for artificial intelligence and smart finance. So real quickly, why don't we get into, why most people fail at wealth building? Because that's kind of the core to everything if you really think about it. Well, outdated strategies. Let's go from top left to right. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll get to them as quickly as we can. We'll be going into, even as this ends, we'll be answering them as many as we can. Outdated strategies. People are using old strategies. It's a new world. Artificial intelligence can help you in so many ways. You gotta, put the old world behind you and use the new things. That would be artificial intelligence. That's going to be a general theme here I'll be going into. No protection structures, operating businesses and holding assets in your own name. That's crazy. AI can help in that regard. You don't have a plan. There's so many different plans now that can be put together with artificial intelligence: financial plan, tax plan, estate plan, asset protection plan. And people, and this is a big one now, wealth building. And the reason people fail, because people are ignoring artificial intelligence. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's time to use artificial intelligence. Don't keep your head in the sand. And then tax overload. Most entrepreneurs unknowingly overpay. Here we put tens of thousands, but really I would say sometimes hundreds of thousands or millions, because they're not really thinking it through. Artificial intelligence, we're going to get into that, can really lower tax liability in a big way. Here, 5-step wealth strategy: discover, design, document, deploy, and diagnose. Highlighted diagnose because you have to continually diagnose the overall plan. We're going to get into that in just, we're going to dive into each one. We're going to talk about discover first, then design, document, deploy. If you have any questions, please go ahead, put it in the chat. This time is to be spent with you. Step 1, discover. Define what wealth means to you. You have to sit down as an entrepreneur, as a real estate investor, whatever the case is, and really define what wealth means to you, not only now, but in the future. Well, and without that, who knows what's going to happen going forward? You have to discover where you are as an individual, where you are financially as an individual in the context of your family, maybe, whatever the case is. You have to do that. That's where the kind of soul searching comes in. And by the way, there's artificial intelligence apps that can help you in a big way. I go in great detail into the book. Anyway, that's important. That's number 1. Number 2, design. You have to build a real plan. And there's so many artificial intelligence apps that are popping up. By the way, you can even build your own. It's relatively easy to build apps now. Design a smart AI-backed financial strategy. You could do, model rates of return, model markets, model capital markets. You can model countries' rates of return. You can do a bunch of stuff with artificial intelligence. So and the net sum is you can create a personalized plan as a result of all the micro work you're doing with artificial intelligence as it relates to designing a plan. Step 3, document. You gotta protect your strategy legally. So not only document the plan, by the way, but also through trusts and LLCs, directives, and AI checklists that can be all put together as a means to helping document the process, the overall plot process. You're on step 3, so think of them as a ladder. Now you're on the third step of the ladder. You've gone a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Now, with use of artificial intelligence, is not as much work as you would think. Step 3, to document things. By the way, nowadays you can even put together trusts with artificial intelligence. I'm not saying doing that. We're going to go in a little bit more detail in a few minutes. Step 4, deploy. Put your plan to action. Man, you can have a killer plan. If you don't do anything, what a waste, right? I sometimes use the example of driving or walking or taking a airline trip from whatever, Seattle to Palm Beach, let's say. Well, if you don't take that first step, if you don't deploy, don't start the process, you're not going to get from, let's say, Seattle to Palm Beach, right? You have to fund the accounts. You have to implement your asset protection strategy. You have to really utilize, if you're smart, utilize artificial intelligence to automate, your tax tracking as an example, your contributions, your document compliance, putting it into action using artificial intelligence will help you in a big, big way. But you have to take that first step. Remember that. But then by having a nice moat around your business or around your assets with artificial intelligence that which have been deployed, you'll be happier and better off. And finally, as I said, the kind of the biggest one is diagnose. You got to keep reviewing. We say on a quarterly basis, then an annual basis, then every 3 years to really update it. So you have to, on an ongoing basis, diagnose if the plan is right, if the assets are right, if where you're going is right, if maybe your overall plan was wrong in the first place. Well, you have to, the only way to do that is continually diagnosing. I get a lot of pushback. Some people say, wow, that's a lot of time. Hey, if you're too cool to take 3 hours a quarter, let's just say, or I don't know, 10 hours a year to diagnose, to figure out if your plan's working, if the initial idea was working, you got bigger issues. Step 5, diagnose is a big one. It's a real, real big one. On an ongoing basis, continuing to make sure you're on the right path. If you're not on the right path, who knows? Maybe you're, instead of going from Seattle to Palm Beach, you go to Seattle to Dallas, Texas. Well, if you end up in Dallas, hey, if that's what you want, great. But that was different than what you set out to do when you were starting from going from Seattle to Palm Beach, as an example. Let's go over some tax reduction secrets that most entrepreneurs miss. People always tell me this is the biggest component of your presentation. By the way, some people always say, well, you're not an accountant, Kenner. No, I'm not an accountant, but I have tax attorneys, I have CPAs, I have EAs, I have a number of people who work for me, either as affiliates or employees or contractors. So we can help lower tax liability. That's how big I believe taxes are. Um, you know, Years ago, I worked for a company called ING, and man, we were really, really cool at helping people to grow their assets. But then I was talking to all these financial advisors with whom I was consulting, and they're like, I'm getting killed with taxes. And then it kind of hit me. Wait a minute. If I know the tax code better than, I don't know, person A who doesn't care about the tax code, and I'm trying to help my financial advisor who, let's say, as a client, I'm lowering their taxes. And let's say the advisor starts out at 100,000, and because I'm helping him with his taxes, lowers his tax liability by $40,000. He's starting out with let's just say $100,000, and then bring down his tax liability by 40,000. Well, that means his portfolio starts at 160,000. Whereas if I'm working, if there's let's say a tax advisor, someone, let's say even a CPA who's just doing the taxes, not paying attention to tax mitigation, and well, their client ends up going, let's say a financial advisor ends up paying whatever, $20,000 extra in taxes. Well, my financial advisor is going to grow his or her assets, in my example, his assets a lot quicker because we're mitigating taxes. We're doing stuff to mitigate and lower the taxes versus this other advisor who's just doing the taxes, who's not proactive, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, I could go on and on. Yep, I'm not a CPA. We have people who work for us. We have models that are surefire models that help business owners to lower tax liability. Sure, the model isn't a CPA. By the way, they're overseen by a CPA, but that's a whole another argument. Anyway, okay, let's get, I digress. Please, if you have any other questions, please put them in the chat. We're going to get to them as I speak. By the way, someone asked about this book that I mentioned, my fourth book, ModernMillions.ai, ModernMillions.ai. Go there. You can go to Amazon, go to Google, go to your favorite bookstore. The book will be out. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're watching a recorded version of this. It'll be out here in just a little bit. You could go to your favorite bookstore, or, heck, if you're really nice, go ahead and email us at info@vastsolutionsgroup.com. You might get a little bonus. Maybe we can help you out with a book or two. Here we go. Let's go in the specifics. I digress. I'm going all over the place. I'm getting these chats. I'm having so much fun. Tax reduction secrets most entrepreneurs miss. One of them, you can rent out your home for 14 days tax-free, completely tax-free. You don't have to worry about it. It's called the Augusta Rule. I get a lot of value in that. A lot of people say, well, wow, that's a really good idea. Well, hey, we found that using no, we didn't use that. idea based on artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence would surely find that now. Leverage R&D tax credits. Yep, you can get tax credits. Not only tax deductions, but tax credits. If you're using, let's say, ChatGPT in a cool way, innovative way, a lot of people don't know about this. By the way, go to taxcreditintel.com, taxcreditintel.com. You're going to see a lot of ways to, well, potentially lower your tax liability because you're getting tax credits because research and development activities that your company or you are doing to, well, be innovative. And this is a big one. A lot of people miss this. And our AI model finds it, by the way. Avoid common entity errors. A lot of entity errors occur because, well, people aren't in the right entities. Hence the reason I should also mention, Bob Bloom, who's at Asset Defense Team, great attorney, estate planning attorney, asset protection attorney. He's really the godfather of asset protection in the U.S. And what I would say is, so many entities are put together incorrectly, and with the luck of finding and stumbling upon him, he's helped a lot of our clients to lower tax liability with entities and also increase asset protection barriers using technology and ideas that have emanated from him. We, by the way, started kind of a department within our company here at vastsolutionsgroup.com called vastassetdefense.com. It's really put together really so it's a hand in glove, working with entrepreneurs so they don't have to go all over the place, for estate planning, asset protection. Here they could get tax with us, finance, artificial intelligence with us, all while working with his group over at Asset Defense Team, all under the umbrella of Vast Asset Defense. Anyway, he's the individual and they're the group that we work with to help some of the entity errors that sometimes can be taken care of with artificial intelligence. All right, let's get into maximizing write-offs. AI, this is the biggest reason I decided to get into AI with taxes. I knew that AI was going to lower tax liability in a big way. We're still learning, actually. I mean, man, in years to come, it's going to it's going to be automatically lowering tax liability for entrepreneurs, even much quicker rate than it is. We've been doing it. Had our model Einstein since 2018, man. It's going to be 10 times better down the road. Anyway, AI can potentially save a lot of money for an entrepreneur. Anyway, I digress. You're going to see a lot more information about how AI can help lower taxes, that everyone seems to miss if you order the book. And please do, by the way, please do order the book and please pass it on to a friend who wants to lower their tax liability legally, ethically, and morally, because more people need to know the story of artificial intelligence. Here, from human guesswork to smart forecasting, that's really all artificial intelligence does. Is it predicts the next X, either pixel or letter or unit, any of the above, to get better. It uses, if you will, it uses it's what you're prompting as an individual if you're using a LLM, and at the same time it's researching all of the internet, and then it's also researching kind of the code that was put in to build the model itself. So I guess what I'm saying is, AI takes guessing to another level. It makes it easier for an entrepreneur because the AI model is doing the guessing. All right, real quickly, let's hit a couple things. We're getting some we got a question. Yeah, so let me mention, vastsolutionsgroup.com, as I mentioned, has been around since 1969 under a different name. I took it over 2006. As I mentioned, I'm an author, 4-time author. This is by far my biggest book. I mean, we've put a lot of time into this one. But the reason I think the person asked about we do business all over the country. We've been doing taxes since 2006. We've been doing tax consulting since 2006. Yeah, we do registered agent service work all over the country. We have a community. Just saw a question about a community. We have a community that we call Vast Vault. Typically, it's $199 a month. In there, you get a bunch of resources, a huge amount of resources from some people, as Sharon Lecter, as an example. Jay Cron, who started co-founder at Kajabi. Obviously, Bob Bloom, that I mentioned, over at vastassetdefense.com. So yeah, I mean, we keep getting questions about the company. The company, it's been around, it's a well-established company. We have over, I'm sure over, at least 2,000, if not 3,000 clients now. And we do, tax work, usually tax mitigation work, legally, ethically, and morally, by the way. But we also do tax prep on a lower level. We also have free bookkeeping now, while the services are public, because we're bringing it in-house. Long story as to what that means, but and that's at vastbookie.ai. And then we also do some what we call mitigation of a liability. We have a risk group. Anyway, so real quickly, protect smarter, not harder. AI tools monitor compliance deadlines and LLC renewals, and does that on an ongoing basis. Um, Also, any management software. There's so many new softwares software packages that are coming out. It's worth looking into if someone's looking for know a little bit more about their entities. Predictive analysis. I said earlier that AI is basically a predictive element in society, and that's exactly. Or use AI to audit your legal setup. As an example, you can cut your taxes in real time. Our bookkeeping software at vastsolutionsgroup.com called Vast Bookie, it can look for holes in your tax software, or sorry, in your tax filings even before you do your filing. It's worth looking into. Simulate your retirement with accuracy. So as an example, let's say, should I as an entrepreneur, should I do a Roth, or should I do a traditional? Should I do a defined benefit plan? Should I do a Roth 401k? Whatever the case is, AI, put it in the model, and it can help lower your tax liability. It can help, which also potentially increases your asset pool in retirement. Again, all with artificial intelligence. I'm sure, by the way, some people are out there, they're getting scared of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a tool to help you as a business owner. It's just like, hunting and pecking on a computer of years old. But now what you're doing is, well, you're using artificial intelligence in a way that's predictive in helping you to increase your net worth, lowering your tax liability, putting a moat around your business with asset protection. Talking about legacy, nowadays there's a bunch of tools that are out there to simulate your estate tax exposure in a given situation. Also, I love this one. Your legacy now includes passwords, digital assets, even crypto. With artificial intelligence, it can help put a moat around those things more than ever. There's higher security with artificial intelligence than ever. So, and by the way, think of those, your digital assets or even crypto as an asset. A lot of people don't do that. So here, I mentioned earlier, there's a number of places you could get the book. I don't care where you get the book. I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that you're even thinking about getting the book, if you're thinking about getting the book. But more than anything, the book is just a resource. If you don't read the book, it's a resource that it's a waste. It's a waste for me and waste for you, et cetera, et cetera. Use the book to your advantage. Hopefully some of the things we've talked about are really, kind of making it bold, the fact that artificial intelligence is here to stay. It can help you to, as we say here, make millions, save millions, protect millions. Please, if you have any questions, keep them in the chat. Email us at info@vastsolutionsgroup.com, info@vastsolutionsgroup.com. I know there's a couple bonuses that are up there on the screen. I do know that it's going to be worth your while to go to ModernMillions.ai, go to Amazon, go to Google, wherever, go to your bookstore, get a copy of the, as we call it, the AI powered playbook to make, save, and protect millions. You'll be happy you did. But hopefully this little time we spent together maybe open your eyes just a little bit, ways to utilize artificial intelligence to help you. I really, with all my heart, I appreciate you being here. I think that I've had some fun time explaining all this stuff and going over artificial intelligence, how it can help you as a business, or how it can help you to mitigate, lower your taxes, increase your network, put a moat around your business, moat around your assets. And it's been a pleasure. I love talking about this stuff. I know it helps business owners. I know artificial intelligence, it's here to stay. It's going to help so many people. Sure, there's some frightening things out there, but it's how you use it for your benefit, which will lower the fear factor. Once again, Kenna French of ModernMillions.ai.